Trying to replace the slide out seals, and doing so I operated the motor for the slide out probably more than it's been for a while, although the motor's pretty well worn out. And if you look kind of closely right in the middle, that drive shaft decided to just explode. Since I don't have a drive shaft, I got an entirely new motor. There's not a lot of room to work there. I need to try to take these covers off, then I can pull this entire front fascia off. There's not a lot of room, and it would work much better if this board was not there. First part of getting this entire front fascia off here to replace that slide out gearbox assembly is taking off these little plastic stars. You see that? It's just double-sided tape that holds it on. Just get up underneath there a little bit and then just start prying. I'm going to get to these screws that anchor on these blocks. Got those blocks taken off. You can see the joint in the middle here. Everything's connected to. There's going to be screws behind here. You can't see because this bottom trim piece is covering it up. So you can see one right here, and it's going to pull this trim panel off. The bottom side is just held in place with these little tiny nails. Now you can see with that bottom trim panel off, you can see all of these little screws here. They got to come off. Now I got that top section off of here, so I can get to this motor. So disconnected the motor, got the chains off. As soon as I disconnected the chains, the entire slide out moved towards the wall, which is good that the camper was angled away from me. Otherwise, so second problem we have here is that old motor lined up for this little mark on the wall, which should be the center, but it only has 3 bolts. So the new motor assembly has more than 3 bolts, which is good. But if I line that up, none of the other holes line up. I might be able to get the outside holes, maybe, but it's kind of at a weird angle. So I want that to be a little bit more straight up and down. So I'm gonna have to raise this up just a little bit and drill some new holes. Took a little bit of work, like usual. Had to drill new holes for this new plate and the mounting bracket. You can't see it, but there was a marker line right in line with the old gearbox, right in the center of it. Got that lined up the same. Now I need to wire this up. So it's a 12 volt system, pretty simple. Red is positive, black is ground, but this isn't red and black. So on this one, the white one is ground, and white with black stripe is positive. So I'm going to see how much slack I have here. I'm going to shorten this up as much as I can, and then get this connected. I just connect these with some butt connectors, strip them back a little bit, and I'm going to wrap them up a little bit in electrical tape here so I don't have any other problems in the future, and get this put back in, get the anchors put back in for the wiring, and move on. Everything's all put back together here, back in the wiring harness, as up against the wall as I can. Had to make a new hole for that screw because it was stripped out on the wall. Now I need to get the chains and then figure out how to put the rest of this back together. I think I got this pretty well adjusted. We'll find out here in a minute when I hook the battery back up. So these pieces are more or less vertical. Got about equal amount of thread on all of them except for the top on the left side here. It's a little tight. And gonna hook the battery back up and then run the slide in a little bit and figure out if I need to make any more adjustments or if it's good, and then tighten down those lock nuts right there on the middle, and hopefully everything works okay. Here it is, all nice and adjusted. Got the vibration blocks put back on, these jam nuts tightened down. I just ran it back and forth. Everything works basically perfect. So I need to put this front fascia trim back on. Just got the living room slide out over there taken care of, all disassembled, put back together. I still got to put on the lower trim pieces and pin nail that back on. But I just wanted to take a look at the other side over here. This isn't supposed to be super loose. I don't think that's even doing much. So I gotta go and adjust this side, which also requires taking these off and pulling this off. Doing a little bit of work here on the kitchen slide out. Had to adjust the cables here on the slide out system. So if you weren't aware, they're supposed to look like that. So nice and straight. The adjusters are up and down. They're not supposed to look like that. Not sure what happened there, but it's super loose. The end part is not doing much, so gotta adjust that. Be right back. So after I got the main two kitchen and living room slides taken care of, I noticed that the cables were probably going to be loose with the bedroom. So checked the cables, and they had a ton of slack on them. So I took this top fascia board off. On here you can see the inside cable to pull it in is very loose. And this side is also on the inside is very loose. So I need to get these adjusted. You can kind of see how bad this is. Yeah, these should be really tight. So I'm not sure what happened here, but I need to get that just tightened up and run it in and out a few more times and make sure it all works. Getting better at this is the third. So now you can see that the cables got proper tension all the way across. Run it in and out a few times, make sure, and everything seems to be lined up just fine. No slack in or out, and they're not too tight to prevent any other future problems down the road. And this is all you need to adjust the BAL slide outs at a 3/8 wrench, 7/16 wrench, needle nose vice grips, a 3/8 socket, and a 7/16 socket with a wobbly. Make it easier to get inside of here and in there. This one was so close I couldn't get the socket in there, which is why I had to use a wrench. So pretty easy to do.